Hi viewers, I am Mohammed Shoaib. I hope are you okay all person. So after what sure feels like a third strike, I think we have to ask ourselves, has New York District Attorney Alvin Bragg struck out on the justice front? Let's talk about that because justice matters. Hey all, Glenn Kirshner here. So the Daily Beast just reported that New York District Attorney Alvin Bragg has been returning evidence to witnesses. Returning evidence that had been obtained from those witnesses is part of the investigation into Donald Trump's crimes in New York. Here is how the Daily Beast reported this troubling development. Headline: Why is the Manhattan District Attorney returning evidence in the Trump case? Prosecutors have begun sending back documents to people who turned over information about former President Donald Trump's business in perhaps the starkest sign yet that the Manhattan District Attorney's investigation into Trump may be winding down, according to two people familiar with the situation. Witnesses who had turned over key documents to investigators have suddenly been getting their evidence back in recent weeks. Now, friends, prosecutors take an oath to faithfully execute, that is, enforce the laws of our country. If you're a federal prosecutor, or the laws of your state. If you're a state prosecutor, I had the honor of taking such an oath several times. I prosecuted in military courts and in civilian courts. I prosecuted in federal, state, and local courts. As prosecutors, we owe the people we represent three things. 1. Transparency to the extent possible without compromising ongoing investigations. Transparency, accountability, and candor. The truth. And it now looks like New York District Attorney Alvin Bragg has fallen down on all three fronts. Let's start with transparency. So I'm sure you've heard by now that the lead prosecutor on the Trump case, Mark Pomerantz, resigned reportedly because Alvin Bragg decided not to indict Donald Trump, but Bragg refused to release Pomerantz's resignation letter, while at the same time telling the people of New York that it was, quote, not true that he had decided to drop the case against Trump. And then Pomerantz's resignation letter was leaked and published, and here's what we learned. We learned that former District Attorney Cy Vance had concluded there was sufficient evidence to charge Trump and authorized Pomerantz's team to present the evidence to the grand jury and to seek an indictment of Mr. Trump and other defendants as soon as reasonably possible. However, according to Pomerantz, Bragg instructed them not to go forward with the grand jury presentation and not to seek criminal charges at the present time. So on the transparency front, strike one for Alvin Bragg. How about accountability? Well, that question sort of answers itself, doesn't it? But let's look at Pomerantz's resignation letter. Pomerantz unambiguously stated, the team that has been investigating Mr. Trump harbors no doubt about whether he committed crimes. He did. And Pomerantz goes on to say, I and others have advised you, Alvin Bragg, that we have evidence sufficient to establish Mr. Trump's guilt beyond a reasonable doubt, and we believe that the prosecution would prevail if charges were brought. So on the accountability front, strike two for Alvin Bragg. On the candor front, we have to go back to the Daily Beast article because they asked Bragg what was going on and he gave them a statement. He told the Daily Beast, the investigation continues. A team of experienced prosecutors is working every day to follow the facts and follow the law. Bragg is also quoted as saying, the Trump investigation is ongoing and there is a robust team working on it, while in reality, per the Daily Beast, Bragg is actually returning the evidence to the witnesses. More like robustly dismantling the Trump investigation. Candor 3. Is it any wonder that several candidates running for New York governor have pledged that if elected they will remove Alvin Bragg from his office? By the way, those candidates are both Democrats and Republicans, and to me that sounds like a winning platform, an important campaign promise, because justice matters. Friends, as always, please stay safe, please stay tuned, and I look forward to talking with you all again tomorrow.